Hello everyone, welcome back. One of my viewers watched a video that I did a couple of months ago where I tested the accuracy of steel case tool ammunition. And in that video I had shot 55 grain Tula, and he wanted to know if I had tried it with 62 grain Tula. So I decided, you know what, let's test it today and see what it does. Now in that video I had shot the 55 grain Tula at 110 yards, and I got a 1.5 inch cluster with an overall grouping of about 3.5 inches. Okay. So today I took out I found some Tula that I had. Now this is 62 grain hollow points. Let me pull this out, show it to you guys. A lot of people don't know, but yeah, Tula actually does make hollow points. You should be able to see that there. So it's a 62 grain hollow point. Basically I just happen to have this. That's why I said, well, let's just shoot this. And I shot this at 100 yards today, just because 100 yards tends to be the more standard at what people test rifles and ammunition at. Okay, so first let me tell you, I use this Ruger MPR. It has a 1:8 scope on it, 18-inch barrel. I use this because this is my most accurate rifle. Okay. So first I took out, so first I shot the 62 grain Tula, 100 yards. I shot a 5-shot group, and I had a nice cluster here, 4-shot cluster of 1.25 inches. Okay, I could see this through the scope as I was hitting them, and I'm like, wow, man, this is gonna be a really tight group. And then the last one came way up here. So the total grouping, including that flyer, is 2.5 inches with 1.25 inch cluster over here. Now that flyer over here, half of that was probably the ammunition, and the other half was probably me jerking the trigger a little bit. I know I did jerk the trigger a little bit on that last one, but it's very typical with Tula that 1 out of 5 will be a little bit off. Okay. So what I wanted to do then is, I said, let me pull out the 55 grain Tula, and let's test that again. So with the 55 grain Tula, same deal. I did a 5-shot group. The overall group was 3 inches. Okay, and I have 1.75 inch cluster. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're basically all in the bullseye over here, and then one flyer out here. So 1.75 inch cluster with an overall grouping of 3 inches. Okay, and then I said, let's go back to that 62 grain and let's try it one more time. So with the 62 grain, 100 yards, again I got a 1.25 inch cluster with one flyer out here. So the total overall grouping was 2.5 inches. Like I said, in that first grouping, I knew I jerked the trigger a little bit, so that probably made about a 1/2 inch difference. So it's fair to say that with Tula, you can expect, if you're shooting well, you can expect sub 3 MOA accuracy. Okay, that's what you're gonna get out of Tula. And with this rifle that I'm using, I will typically average 1-inch groups with this. On one lucky day I did get down to 0.75 of an inch. I have hit 3/4 of an inch. I haven't been able to replicate that, so I call this basically a 1 MOA rifle. So that's what the Tula is gonna do under the best circumstances. You're gonna get somewhere between 2.5 and 3 inch averages. Something worth noting, the Tula is a little bit slower. Okay, when I run it through the chronograph, through a 16-inch barrel, I will typically get 1,200 foot-pounds with brass. With Tula, I will get 1,100 foot-pounds of energy with the steel case. So with this Ruger MPR, what I find is it does not cycle Tula. So basically what I would do with this is I would take the shot and then I would manually cycle it. The reason for this is because this is a it's a full length gas system, and when I'm shooting like green tips and XM 193, I mean they feel like butter. I mean it's a very low recoil rifle, so the rifle is basically geared to shooting the more powerful ammunition. So what happens is with the Tula, which is a little less powerful, it won't cycle. And what I did is when I shot this, afterwards, I fired a couple of rounds to see where the cases will go. The cases will typically land at the 4 and 5 o'clock position back here, with the steel case. So that tells me that it's underpowered. Usually, you want your cases going at the 3 o'clock position. Now, when I shoot, let's say like my Palmetto, my Rugers, my Smith & Wesson MP15, those will typically, even with the steel case, they will cycle well. They will eject at the 3 o'clock position. When I shoot my Radical, that'll shoot them at like the 1, 2 o'clock position. With the economy ARs, in the way they're actually a lot more reliable because they overgas the shit out of them. Okay, they overgas them so that they will run steel case Tula, so that they will run when they're dirty. So basically, I consider this more of a specialty rifle for distance shooting. For a boogaloo type of situation, that's not the rifle I would be using. For that type of a situation, I would be using my Palmetto, my Smith, just a standard Ruger 5.56. The reason is because the people that you will most likely meet up with and be working with, there's going to be a lot of Tula, rotating out there. Okay, so at some point, if you run out of ammo, you need to be resupplied. There's a good chance that you're going to get resupplied with Tula. So that's why for that type of a situation, for a shit hit the fan type of situation, I want to use rifles that I know will cycle Tula, and will work well under those circumstances. So Tula shoots well. I mean, I consider 3 MOA pretty good for now remember, ARs are basically medium range rifles. They're not long range rifles. I mean, this MPR can, because of it's got a 1:8 scope on it, it's got that 18-inch cold hammer forged barrel. This can fit the role of long distance shooting. But the standard mil spec AR-15 is a short to medium, short as in close quarter combat, short to medium range rifle. So for that type of a distance, 3 MOA shooting is perfectly fine as far as I'm concerned. So there's my thoughts on that. If you guys got any questions, comments, please post them in the comments section. If you're not a member of my channel, please hit the subscribe button, hit that bell so you get notifications. I'll talk to you guys next time.